Welcome to DP Chocolates, where excellence in cocoa and chocolate manufacturing meets innovation. With 5 state-of-the-art plants strategically positioned across India, we're equipped to serve the world. Our process begins at the cocoa plant, where quality and precision drive every stage. We source the finest cocoa beans from Ghana, Ivory Coast, Indonesia, and India. At our Red Zone lab, these beans undergo strict quality checks, assessing factors like fermentation, bean count, fat content, moisture, and the presence of mold. Batches that pass are tagged and stored for further processing. Once the beans have passed initial quality checks, they're sorted for processing based on the final desired cocoa product. Whether domestic or imported, the beans' attributes as evaluated during intake guide their selection. Before further processing, the cocoa beans undergo a rigorous 3-step cleaning phase. Vibroclassification. A vibrating machine separates agricultural waste like threads and dust from the beans. Clusters of beans formed during fermentation are also removed for manual separation. Magnetic separation. The beans are passed through a magnetic drum that captures any metal particles that might have mixed with the beans during handling. Stone removal. Using gravity-based separation, small stones are extracted from the batch, ensuring only clean cocoa beans proceed. After cleaning, the beans are stored in 4 large industrial-scale silos, each capable of holding up to 30 metric tons. This ensures that the beans are preserved in an optimal environment while waiting to be processed further. Next is the infrared micronizer. Here, the beans are heated rapidly, causing the shells to dry, expand, and eventually separate from the nibs. This expansion process aids in the efficient removal of the bean shells in the subsequent steps. After being heated in the IR micronizer, the beans are broken open by passing through breaker machines. These machines extract the cocoa nibs, separating them from the shells. The nibs are then further separated from shell fragments in a pre-sieve. This pre-sieve step is critical as it ensures that the amount of fines generated is minimized. After the pre-sieve, the winnower separates the cocoa nibs from the shells using a 2-stage crushing process. This system maximizes yield and uses 5 sieve decks with shell aspiration to minimize fines. Once separated, the cocoa nibs are conveyed and stored in hoppers or silos. The journey continues with the preparation of the alkali solution, where different concentrations are mixed based on the desired outcome for the final cocoa powder. This step is not just about safety, but also customization. The pH of the alkalizing fluid, combined with precise pressure, heat, and duration, creates a cocoa mass with unique color and flavor profiles. From light to dark, mild to rich, the process allows for tailored results. While ensuring food safety, the nibs are debacterized at this critical control point. After alkalization, the nibs are roasted at temperatures between 110 to 145 degrees Celsius to develop their flavor and aroma. In the next phase, the roasted nibs are ground into a semi-liquid cocoa mass. This cocoa mass is a blend of cocoa solids and cocoa butter and is essential for both cocoa powder and chocolate production. To achieve a finer consistency, the cocoa mass is passed through a series of ball mills. The cocoa mass is then filtered through a vibrosieve to remove any coarse particles. Laser diffraction ensures the cocoa mass is uniform and meets the necessary fineness standards. As a safety measure, the cocoa mass is passed through a metal detector, marking the second critical control point in the process. This ensures that no metal contaminants are present before the cocoa mass is transferred to storage, each capable of holding up to 30 metric tons. These tanks keep the mass ready for the next stages, either for dispatch to customers or for pressing. In this step, the cocoa mass is pressed to separate it into 2 components, cocoa butter and cocoa solids. The hydraulic press applies immense pressure, yielding liquid cocoa butter and a solid cocoa cake. Once the cocoa mass is pressed, the liquid cocoa butter undergoes several refinement steps. First, it is transferred to storage tanks and passed through a filter press to remove any remaining cocoa solids. After filtration, the advanced continuous deodorizer eliminates any strong or undesirable aromas, creating a neutral product suitable for a wide range of applications. The deodorized cocoa butter is then subjected to a final metal detector check to ensure it's free of contaminants. After these quality checks, the cocoa butter is stored in tanks or solidified into blocks, depending on the customer's requirements. Finally, it's dispatched either in large tankers for bulk orders or as blocks packed in cartons, ready for shipment. Next, the modern pulverizer with air classifiers grinds the solid cocoa cake into a fine cocoa powder. This cocoa powder is used in various products, including baking, cocoa beverages, and chocolate making. The ground cocoa powder is stored in silos before it undergoes final checks and packaging. Before packaging, the cocoa powder is passed through another metal detector. This is the final critical control point for cocoa powder. Once the cocoa powder's cleared, it's packed into bags of either 25 kilograms or 450 kilograms, depending on the customer's requirements. The packed cocoa powder is stored in a warehouse and prepared for dispatch to customers. Our commitment to excellence is backed by the highest certifications. Both our cocoa and chocolate plants hold FSSC 22000, Halal, Kosher, SMETA, and IRCA certifications. We've passed rigorous international audits, including Mondelez's global manufacturing standards, ensuring world-class quality at every step. At DP Group, we process 6 metric tons of cocoa beans per hour. With the capacity to scale up to 10 metric tons per hour, we're ready to meet future demands. Join us in shaping the future of the chocolate industry. DP Cocoa, reaching new heights with every batch.